Welcome to Pathways to Success, a program that supports micro, small, and medium enterprises here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Starting a new business is fun, but it requires the completion of various business and government documents, especially tax and legal paperwork. A streamlined approach to preparing these documents and scheduling tax payments can make your entrepreneur life less daunting. Now joining us today is a business lawyer and labor law coach, Attorney Pol Sangalang. Welcome to Pathways to Success, Attorney Pol.
Hello, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's very good to have you here, and we hope we'll be able to help a lot of business owners or those who want to start their small business, right? So, Attorney Pol, if I'm planning to open a small business, how do I choose the business structure? That's my very first question, because the business structure determines your ITR.
Yes. By the way, it's an exciting time to start a business in the Philippines right now, because we have so many reforms in our business law and in our tax law.
Oh, that's good to know.
Just this year, early this year, 2024, we have the Ease of Paying Taxes law. And going back to your questions, there are four main business organization or structure that we can select from. First of all, and the most simplest of which is the sole proprietorship. And
explain this to us, the sole proprietorship.
Okay, sole proprietorship it's you. You as an individual will go into business. So anyone who has reached the age of majority, which is 18, you have full legal capacity to enter into any contracts or transaction. Therefore, you are qualified to engage in business. So all you need is your birth certificate to show that you are of legal age. And then you can approach the government agencies in charge of registration of sole proprietorship. So that's how it is. And compared to another business structure is the corporation. Yeah. So corporation, on the other hand, is different because under the law on corporations, the revised corporation code, when you register a corporation, you create a legal entity. No? Legal entity, meaning it has a life of its own. It's like you're giving birth to a person that is invisible but artificial, a creation of law, and that artificial legal entity will have a rights of its own. It can enter into a contract, own properties, open its own bank account as if it's a real person. So that's the second mode. The third mode is a general partnership, wherein two individuals, like two sole proprietors, can join forces, have a joint venture, and register their partnership. And the last is the new addition to the business structure, which is the one-person corporation, or the OPC. That is a corporation, but it's like a hybrid between a sole proprietorship and a corporation, wherein there's only one owner.
That's the in-between.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are basically four structure to choose from.
So these four, nag-iiba yung ITR nila?
Yes. Okay. There are similarities and differences.
Okay.
So you have to, at the start, you have to decide what business structure you're going to adopt.
Right. Now, when you start a business, of course, it involves securing documents before you start to operate. So let's go through the business documents. Take us through one by one. For example, for the DTI.
Okay, so you mentioned DTI. That's where you register your business name. Because as I mentioned earlier, when you're a sole proprietor, you are engaging in a business, your individual, your personal capacity. So you wouldn't, most people wouldn't want to engage in business using their name in their birth certificate. So you apply for a business alias.
Business name, yes.
Yeah, a business name or a business alias. Some call it an avatar. You go to the DTI to register it, but it's still you. It's like your screen name.
Yes.
It's like your pseudonym or your nom de guerre. And you go to the DTI for that. No. Now, unfortunately, a lot of business names have been taken already.
Yeah, so you have to check if the name is available, the name that you want. Yeah, and when you go there, you have to be prepared already with all your documents, your IDs, your
IDs, your birth certificate, and at least 3 preferred business name. Actually, you can go online. There's a platform. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's so easy to go into business because you just have to go to the super app of the government right now, the eGov.
There's an eGov super app. Is it a one-stop shop platform?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, but unfortunately, not all government agencies are present. But the idea is there, that it's going to be a one-stop shop online platform where all the government agencies, including local governments, are located.
Yeah, ideally, all the government agencies should already have the eGov app.
Yes, correct.
Next, Attorney Paul, we go to the SEC registration before we even go to the BIR documents that you need.
Yes. So SEC, you need a document called the Articles of Incorporation. So it's like the charter. It's like the constitution among the incorporators or the founder of the corporation. What they agree upon, capitalization, the purpose, and they have to register it with the SEC. The SEC has examiners, and they will check whether it's in accordance with our existing law, particularly on foreign ownership, and other restrictions.
This actually, registering with the SEC gives you credibility, legal recognition, also access to funding, right?
Yes, and what's the difference? You might want to ask, what's the difference between going with a sole proprietorship or an SEC registered corporation? The main difference is actually the limited liability protection. Corporation is a separate legal entity. Therefore, when it incurs liability like loan or has caused some damage or injury to a customer or a client, the owners are protected. There's a barrier.
It won't be attached to you.
Yes. So your personal savings, your house and lot, and all the properties that are registered in your name are protected.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so next we go to the BIR. There are a lot of documents you need to secure for the BIR.
Yes, so for the BIR, it's our way of saying that we're ready to pay taxes. And actually, it's the most important document to show that we're legit. We're a legitimate business because we're paying our taxes. So the first document that you have to secure from the BIR is the Certificate of Registration.
Okay.
And in the Certificate of Registration, that's where you will inform the BIR what kind of business structure or organization you plan to engage business in, sole proprietor, corporation, one-person corporation, or general partnership. Because there are 2 kinds of taxation law that we have today. The train law and the create law. So the train law is for individuals like sole proprietorship. And then the create law is for corporations and including one-person corporation. And these are 2 separate tax regimes. And the main difference is in the treatment of income tax.
Okay, yes. Very clear. Thank you for clearing that up for us. Now we go to the documents you need for a barangay business clearance before even going to the mayor's office for your business permit.
So here's the step-by-step. So we've covered the business structure, the organization that you will engage business in. Then the next step would be, after getting either your DTI business name or your SEC registration, you go to the BIR to get your certificate of registration. Then you go to the local government unit to secure your business permit, or often we call it the mayor's permit. But there are supporting documents for that. You need the barangay clearance. But the good thing is...
But the ease of doing business, dapat di ba yung barangay clearance, shouldn't it be, dapat isang puntahan na lang yan
that's
for
why,
the mayor's office.
All LGU, all local government units are required to have a one-stop shop or a negosyo center in their...
City Hall.
In the City Hall. To facilitate the registration of business. So you go there, and wherever barangay you're located, there is there's a way to reach out to the barangay. So
From experience or from what you know, attorney, is this what's really happening? Does every city hall have their negosyo center?
but based on the ease of doing business law, which is in force already for several years, all LGUs are required to have their own website, to have their online platform for payment and everything. So, but it's not a perfect system yet.
That's not actually the case because we see long lines everywhere,
yes,
diba?
yes.
Oh.
But at least you can download the forms.
Okay. Okay.
That's the main thing. You can download the forms and payment can be online.
Okay, so after that, there's all the other documents you need. If you're employing people, you have the SSS, Pag-ibig, PhilHealth.
Yes.
Okay.
So after you get the mayor's permit, you have to consider whether you're going to get employees.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get employees, you need to register also with the SSS, Social Security System, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig, because these are the three social welfare agencies that are mandatory, required if you are going to employ workers.
Very helpful, Attorney Paul. That completes our checklist for pre-business documents. Now let's take a quick break, and when we return, we will discuss how filing taxes is done and why it is necessary. Pathways to Success. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are still with business lawyer, Attorney Pol Sangalang, who's taking us through streamlining your approach to preparing all your documents and requirements before you start a business. Now, Attorney Paul, once the business is up and running, it's now time to file your taxes. Can you break down the steps for us?
Well, that's another decision point. Now, the first decision point we've discussed earlier is what business structure or organization you're going to adopt. Now, at this point, there's a need to determine your tax strategy or how you're going to approach your payment of taxes, because we're given several options under the Train Law and the Create Law. And right now, we have the, for businesses, we have two kinds of taxes, the business tax and the income tax. Now, under the income tax, there's an option for the special rate of 8% straight, and the graduated or the tax bracket.
So the special rate, 8%, saan nag-a-apply ito, attorney?
So the 8%, when you're a micro enterprise, meaning your gross sale is not above 3 million per year, you have the option to choose the special rate of 8%. That is computed based on the gross. So you just deduct 250,000 because that's a tax exemption bracket, and then that's the tax you have to pay. So it's the simplest mode of paying taxes, the 8%. Then there's a more complicated way, but you might be able to save more taxes under the more complicated mode.
That's more complicated. So let's zero in on the micro enterprise, because you still need to pay taxes even if you're a micro enterprise. But there are, I understand, privileges and exemptions for small businesses.
Yes, of course, if you are starting and you're not earning that much yet, we have this tax-exempt bracket of 250,000 per annum. So, in case your sales is not going well, or maybe you're even in the red, you did not generate any sale after minusing all your business expenses, you are not required to pay any taxes.
Okay.
But when you're already making money, the moment you start earning at least 250,000 per year, you start to pay taxes.
With a minimum of 8%?
If you choose the special rate of 8%. Yes. But if you don't select the 8%, there's a graduated rate. Now, that's from 0 to 35%.
Okay.
So the 35% tax is for individuals or sole proprietorship earning at least 8 million. So if your annual sales, net sales is at least 8 million, you are subjected to the 35% income tax.
Right.
So that's too high.
Okay, let's now go to the various BIR forms for small businesses, and please discuss each of these forms for us to help our business owners.
Okay, so there are different forms for each transactions that we have to do with the BIR, and all these forms, fortunately, are in their website.
Okay.
You can just go to their website and then the forms, and there are explanations for each form. But the first form that we need to be aware of is the form that we need for applying for a certificate of registration. And that's where we fill up everything, including the address that we're going to use for our business.
This is the 1901?
Yes,
okay.
Correct. And then that's where we will select VAT or non-VAT. So this is another decision point because there's a 12% value-added tax for businesses, and if you are not required to be VAT registered, then there's the 3% percentage tax. So now, who are required to be under VAT? Those that are earning an annual revenue of 3 million and above. Below that, you can be a VAT exempt business. But here's the complication. Even if you are not required to be a VAT registered business, you may choose to be registered with VAT. No, that's an option because there's an advantage if you're VAT registered. And
what are just some of the advantages for being VAT registered?
Because although the margin is 12%, we have the output tax and the input tax. Now, so if your suppliers, if your contractors are VAT registered, they're passing on their VAT to you.
Okay.
All this input tax or input VAT, you can subtract it from your output VAT.
Okay, that's when you can deduct all these other
yes.
expenses. Okay.
So some client, some customer would only want to transact with VAT registered businesses because they can use that for their VAT deductions.
Now there are other forms, Attorney Paul, like the form 1701. What kind of business does this
That's
apply?
the income tax.
Okay.
That's the income tax, and it's required to be filed on a quarterly basis. Of course, at the end of the 4 quarters, usually on April 15, that's where you sum it all up for the entire year, and you file your annual income tax.
And how is this different from the 1701A and the 1702?
Okay, because there are several kinds of taxpayer. The compensation only, the pure compensation earner, meaning the employees. Then there are those who get their income purely from business, and then there are mixed income earner. So these are you have to select which applies to you.
Yes.
Are you a mixed income earner? Are you purely business or purely compensation? So you just select.
That's why from the very beginning, it's important that you define your business structure.
Yes.
Okay. So very helpful and so many forms to know about, but I hope everything is on the website and also on the eGov platform to be able to help our viewers who want to start their small business. Yes. Okay, let's take another quick break. When we return, we will discuss strategies to consider in paying your taxes. Keep it here, Pathways to Success. We'll be right back.
Like to share a part of me who's always very positive, seeing the nice part of life, even though sometimes it's painful inside. So I guess through social media, you can relate to your clients. Through social media, you can also exude and give values that you would like to share to other people. Well, I guess it has helped you grow the business because now you're more relevant, and you also give
and top of mind.
Top of mind, of course, because I guess in agriculture, not so much ladies are into social media. Like they say sometimes, my kids are very social media shy. they're so private and wancho. My kids will say, Mom, you're so kapal your mukha. Aren't you shy doing this? But I enjoy it. So it should take a certain personality if you really want to do it. Even you force people, I'll tell my sales team, hey, you have to be, but you cannot force. It should come inside.
Welcome back. If you have just tuned in, we are with business lawyer, Attorney Pol Sangalang. Now, Attorney Pol, can you share and explain to us the penalties when you miss filing your taxes?
Okay, so taxes are mandatory, and there are several ways you can get in trouble with the BIR. First is tax evasion. So tax evasion is a criminal offense, and that means you're not honest in declaring your income. Now, there's a second one, disallowances. You can because you can report your business expenses, but if the BIR believes that these are not proper for tax deduction, so you can get to your net income tax, then they will say disallowed, and it will increase your gross income, and therefore it will increase ultimately your tax. And
this all can lead to you
yes,
getting your license, permit suspended?
Yes, being audited and then required to pay. And if there's fraud, then you can be prosecuted for tax evasion. And then finally, there's the non-filing or late filing of returns. So
which comes with penalties.
Yes, if you don't file, we call this open cases. No? Because there are quarterly filings, then annual filing, and if we miss out on filing this, then there's late filing charges and then non-filing charges, which is hefty charges. But the good thing, under the ease of paying taxes for micro businesses, the penalty for late filing or non-filing has been greatly reduced. Okay. This is a bonus for small businesses.
But still, let us not miss paying your taxes. What are the strategies then to consider in filing your taxes?
The important thing is that the certificate of registration, when you get it from the BIR, it already includes the dates. What are the forms, what are the taxes that you need to be aware of, and then you can put it on your calendar. So the COR or the certificate of registration is our guide so that we will not miss out on whatever taxes we have to pay and the BIR forms that we have to use.
Great. Final tips, Attorney Pol, to ensure that all our documents, all our obligations are in order, aside from, of course, putting that in your calendar.
Yeah. Well, if you can afford it, it's best to get a bookkeeper or a tax consultant to assist you. But if you want to do this by yourself, the simplest way is to adopt the 8% special rate if you're a new business owner, if you're starting up. Because it's the simplest way. You don't have to collect official receipts or invoices to support your expenses.
Okay, such good advice, Attorney Pol. Thank you for helping us out today and for sharing your knowledge and expertise. And that's today's episode. To our entrepreneurs who are ready to face any challenge, we leave you with this thought. For every minute spent organizing, an hour is earned. I'm Mai Rodriguez. See you again tomorrow here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.